Okay, let's do problem 8. So problem 8 is given you the composite function, given you the final result of the composite function. Okay, given you the final result of the composite function. What is each individual function? So first, let's write the left-hand side as fghx. Okay, is equal to the right-hand side, square root of x minus 1. Okay, so how do you do the analysis? So, okay, for each x, so what's the first thing you do? So what's the first thing you do on the right-hand side? Okay, so if x is given, okay, what's the first thing you do? You square root of it, right? So the first thing you do for x is you square root of it. Okay, and what's the first thing you do on the left-hand side? You first put h, right? You first do hx. Right, then what's the second thing you do? After you get square root of x, what's the second thing you do? You use that function minus 1, okay? So you use that thing minus 1. So the right-hand side, right, it's that something, you use that thing minus 1. Okay, on the left-hand side, the second step you do is gx. Okay, then what's the third step? What's the third step? After you've already got square root of x minus 1, you square root that thing, okay? You square root that thing. So the third step is you square root something, right? You take the square root of something. And on the left-hand side, the last step is fx. Okay, the last step is fx. All right, so that's how you get the three functions. Okay, that's how you get the three functions. So for part 2, it's the same analysis. Part 2, f, g, h, okay, x is equal to sine square cosine x. Okay, to make it more clear, it's sine, okay, cosine x, the whole thing square. All right. So again, given an x, what's the first thing you do? What's the first step? What's the first step? On the left-hand side, okay, let's write it down. So it's f, g, h, x. Okay, it's f, g, h, x. So what's the first thing you do on the left-hand side? You do hx, okay? The first thing on the left-hand side is hx. What's the first thing you do on the right-hand side? Okay, the first thing you do on the right-hand side is cosine x, right? Given an x, you first take the cosine of x. So the first thing you do on the right-hand side is cosine x. And then the second thing you do on the left-hand side is gx. Okay, and the second step you do on the right-hand side, after you've gotten cosine x, then you take the sine value of that cosine x. Okay, so the second step you do on the right-hand side is sine x. Then the last step on the left-hand side is just fx. Okay, and the last step on the right-hand side is you take that entire value and you square it. Okay, so the last step is you square that thing. Okay, so that's how you get three individual functions.